Yo, YouTube, what's up with your boy? Sports and Fitness Rants. I'm back, guys. Click that like button. Subscribe to my channel. What's up, y'all? Welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Got another great video for you guys today. As usual, you guys know the deal on this channel, man. We must continue to set the record straight, stop the lies, stop the narrative, stop them from rewriting the history, and hold these guys to a standard, ladies and gentlemen. It's the standard that we're upholding because no one else is going to do it. I've told you, we have to do it, guys. And in this video, we're going to talk about how playing all 82 games used to be the gold standard and how today it's not even an afterthought. No one has any concerns about playing 80, 70 games. So we must think about these things, man. This is what we're going to talk about in this video. And you guys, I want to thank everybody out there, everyone across the world, everyone across the states has been supporting my channel. It is truly humbling, guys, for you guys to, like I said, support my channel through your comments, subscribing to my channel. Like I said, sharing your stories with me, sharing the info. Anyone who's ever donated to my channel, everybody in the membership, guys. Once again, I told you, I do not do this for the money or the fame. It's all about the respect of the game, the honor, the integrity. It's all about setting the record straight. So shout out to all you guys, man, for real, man. Much respect. And you guys know what to do. Turn the volume all the way up. Hit that play button. Remember, these videos are for educational purposes. And let's roll. So yes, guys, like I've told you, man, playing all 82 games used to be the gold standard. That was the standard, man. That was something that players took pride in. Playing 82 games. It didn't matter if you were a bench player, if you were the sixth man, if you were the superstar starter on your team, the main guy. Everyone took pride in playing all 82 games back in the day. It was almost like a badge of honor if you were able to play 80, 82 games in an NBA season, right? There was no load managing guidelines for these guys, right? There was none of this stuff going on because these guys showed up to work. That was the standard. And the standard that I'm always telling you guys is not being upheld any longer. These guys are crying about playing 65 games now. Remember, the NBA put in a minimum, right? You must play a minimum of 65 games to be eligible for any postseason award. And why did the NBA implement this rule? Because guys were not showing up to work. Guys were not giving the effort consistently, right? They were not respecting the game. They were not respecting the fans. So the NBA had to institute these rules, and now you have these guys complaining about having to play 65 games. Meanwhile, the NBA has been playing 60 games since the 50s, the 60s, and they've been playing 82 games since 1968, guys. The NBA has been playing 82 games since 1968. These were grown men playing in the 60s, in the 70s with Converse Chuck Taylor sneakers. These guys did not have the advancements in medicine and the fancy travel arrangements that these players have today. They were not making the millions of dollars back in the 60s and in the 70s. But yet and still, these grown men showed up to work every single day. Why? For the love of the game, and they showed up for the respect of the game and the respect of the fans. And they showed up to be true competitors. They wanted to win. They wanted to play against each other, right? There was pride in these things. There's no more pride anymore as far as playing 82 games and what that means. As a whole, are there players that play 80 games, 75 games that give the effort? Yes, there are players in the NBA, but as a whole, it's not there. When I grew up watching basketball in the 80s and the 90s, the entire NBA, I just told you guys, whether you were the last man on the bench, whether you were the sixth man or the superstar, everyone took pride in playing and being available for 82 games. Whether or not you got in the game was irrelevant. You were available to play in the games. You were there. These guys suited up. I told you, they pushed through personal problems. They pushed through minor bumps and bruises, little nicks and pains. They pushed through these things because they had a love of the game and they respected the fans who paid them money and showed up to watch them. They took pride in this stuff. I've told you guys, the honor, the integrity, the respect is gone now for a lot of these players. Now it's all about the money and the fame. What they can get from the game, not what they can give back to the game. Not what they can give for the fans, right? The fans must give their money, right? And the fans are supposed to give their respect, but the players do not want to honor their contracts, show up to work every day, and show up for the fans, right? And when they are there, they don't want to give the consistent effort. They don't want to play both sides of the ball, right? They want to go through the motions a lot of times. So when we think about these things, guys, I'm telling you right now, back in the day, playing 82 games was the standard. That's the standard I'm talking to you guys about. This is one of the things that we must continue to tell these guys and uphold. If they want to play 60, 65 games and winning scoring title or a rebounding title or a steals title or an assist title, right? Or get an all NBA selection or an MVP, I'm not as impressed with guys playing 55, 60, 65 games and winning these accolades, right? Making these achievements. It's not as impressive as guys who are playing 75, 80 games, 70 games consistently every single season. Meanwhile, getting paid less money in a much more physical NBA where guys were getting banged around. Right? Guys didn't play for 15, 20 seasons back in them days because your body could not take the wear and tear. Once again, they did not have all the advantages of fancy sneakers and different kinds of courts. Hell, even the basketball they played with was different. They didn't have the advanced rims, right? Back in the day, I told you, they were hanging rims from chicken wire, man. These things were hung on wires. So when you took a shot and you hit the rim, the whole thing would shake and it could keep shaking for a little bit. Think about these things, ladies and gentlemen. That would never happen in today's NBA, right? It's a much more different era. It's a different game, right? So when we talk about playing 82 games, this is why it means more today. If these guys are bigger, stronger, faster, if these guys are supposed to be more superior athletes than the guys in the 40s and the 50s and the 60s and the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, the 2000s even, if they want to argue these points, then why are these guys not playing 80 games, 82 games, 75 games? At the minimum, these guys are playing 50, 55 games. And now the NBA is cracking down, and all of a sudden now they're actually being held to this. Now all of a sudden these guys are complaining about it. And they'll say, what? Past errors didn't have the standard because they didn't need the standard. They didn't have to have someone uphold a standard for them. They upheld the standard themselves. Because like I told you guys, it was a badge of honor to play 80, 82 games. Whatever the max amount of games was for the season, whether it was 60 games or 65 games or 72 games, whatever the amount, the max amount of games was, these guys took pride in being available and suiting up every single game. Bill Russell was not load managing in the 60s. Will Chamberlain was not sitting out ducking Bill Russell. Oh, I don't want to play against the Celtics, man. They're tough. I'm going to sit out. No, these men showed up to work. Jerry West didn't duck out in the Celtics. He showed up and got beat every single season and kept coming back every single season. No one made excuses for Jerry West. No, the man showed up. He didn't sit out games and rest and say, hey, I'm going to rest during the regular season so I can be stronger in the postseason. No, these guys went on every single game like it was their last game, and they gave the effort. They showed up for the fans, for love of the game. And now, playing 82 games, no one wants to do these things. Yes, there are certain players that will do it, but the main stars are not doing it, and they refuse to do it. It's not that they can't do it, all of them. They don't want to do it. I've told you, Magic Johnson never played 82 games in a season, guys. Never once played 82 games in a season. However, what Magic Johnson did, he always tried to play as many games as possible. He was trying to suit up as many games as possible. Magic Johnson was never ducking out on the smoke necessarily, right? And load managing, sitting out games for no reasons. Okay? It's not the same. Magic Johnson never had seasons when he was playing 50 games, 55 games. The only season where I believe he played under 70 games or 60 games was his injury knee season. Every other season, these guys played 70, 75, 80 games. They showed up to work, right? They showed up, man. It wasn't necessarily about playing the 82 on paper, saying, oh, I played all 82 on paper. It was about wanting to play the 82. In your mind, knowing I'm going to do everything possible to play, right? What do I tell you in this channel, guys? If you're looking for an excuse, you will always find it. So if you're looking for a reason not to play all 82, you'll never play. And when I hear a lot of the new age, quote unquote, fans, the fake fans of this era of NBA, they're not real basketball fans. They never care. They'll say, oh, you're an old head worried about the wrong things because I want to hold these guys to a standard to live up and honor their contract because they're getting paid millions of dollars and they don't want to play all 82 games. It's a laugh when I hear people say this. You expose yourself, once again, as having no principles, standing on nothing. You stand for nothing. We got to show up to work, right? You got to show up to work. I got to show up to work, right? I'm not complaining about how many days I got to show up to work. Meanwhile, these guys don't even play all season long or all year long, right? Basketball is a certain time frame, right? From October to June. And that's only if you make the playoffs. So all the other months, you guys have off, right? They're not working, so to speak. They might train and do things in the off season, but once again, this is not them working, where all of us have to work all year round, most people, right? these guys don't want to show up for 82 games and then the fans want to excuse them, you're a clown. If you're excusing these guys and think it's okay for them to show up and only play 60, 65 games. I told you the minimum should have been 70. You really want to put their foot to the fire and force them to have the mindset of players from the past eras? Make it 70 games because they shouldn't even need this. That's the whole point here. This is why the NBA turned to a laughingstock with an in-season tournament and a play-in tournament, right? And flopping guidelines and load managing guidelines. It's a joke right now. They're giving awards for everything right now. Oh, it's an Eastern Conference Finals MVP. It's an Eastern Conference MVP. It's the Western Conference Finals MVP. Everyone needs a trophy now. Everyone needs to feel good about themselves. This is the era that we're watching right now. I told you guys, it's the player entitlement era, not the player empowerment era that they try to make it seem. It's a joke, guys. The 82 games used to be a badge of honor. AC Green, the true Iron Man of the NBA, who played in like 1,100 consecutive NBA games consecutively. Michael Jordan played in 304, guys. 304 consecutive games in the second three-peat, guys, without missing a single game. 304 guys between the regular season and the postseason. 304 games at 33, 34, and 35 years old. Didn't miss a single game, guys. 304 while leading the league in scoring, playing elite-level defense. Winning 2 MVPs and 3 championships, 3 finals MVPs. He did that at that advanced age on both ends, guys. Didn't miss a single game. Why? Because Michael Jordan took pride in this. These players took pride in showing up for the fans, for love of the game. If you love to do something, you're going to want to be out there. I told you, I really question whether a lot of these players or most of these players love the game of basketball that way. If they weren't 6'9", 6'8", and getting paid millions to play basketball, would they really be playing ball right now? Would they? No, because they probably don't love the game like that. Why is that? Because they're complaining about playing 80 games? You don't want to play? You should be wanting to play as much as possible to showcase your talents, to compete. It's not the same, guys. And this is what we're standing up to. This is what we're exposing. And this is the standard, guys, that we must uphold. All the other players from previous eras played in much more worse conditions. They dealt with a lot worse. And yet and still, they showed up. They showed up, guys. They didn't need a minimum put on them. Or a minimum of 65 games put on these guys. Like I said, they showed up to work, man. And they did their jobs. They earned the respect. And they earned their money. These guys today, they don't want to earn their money. They think that they earned the money just by making it to the NBA. Oh, I'm already here. I made it. Ben Simmons, i.e., right? No one wants to work once they're here. They get here off their athleticism, their God-given abilities, right? And then when they get to the NBA and they get the millions, they don't want to put the work in anymore. They feel like they've arrived. And this is why I will never put these guys or compare them to the other legends that I watched growing up and before them that gave the effort. You guys know the deal, man. We must continue to hold the standard, stop them from rewriting history, set the record straight here, man. The 82 games is a big deal. It should be the standard. It should be the gold standard. That should be the bar, that the minimum that players should be attaining to at least play 82 games every single season. Another reason why these guys don't want to do this is because it'll cheese their stats. Think about it. It's easier to score an average 35 points a game for 65 games than it is to average 35 points a game for 82 games. This is why Michael Jordan's scoring titles are so impressive. The least amount of games Michael Jordan played in a scoring title season was 78 games, guys. Every other season, this man played either 80 games or 82 games. He wasn't cheesing scoring records or scoring titles by playing 60 games or 65 games. He played all the games and gave effort on both ends. He wasn't resting on defense to score more points. So remember that, guys. These scoring titles, these records these guys are doing, only playing 65 games, 60 games before this minimum came out, is a joke, guys. I don't respect it. Joel Embiid's 2 scoring titles that he won playing under, 70 games? It ain't the same as Michael Jordan scoring titles playing all 82 in an era with physical defense, right? Where guys gave effort on both ends, man. You guys know the deal, man. We must hold the standard. 82 games should be the minimum, man, for these guys and when they're thinking about what they should accomplish in a season. They're always worried about personal achievements, right? But never want to play 82 games, these guys. They never want to be out there for the fans to compete for love of the game, man. And we're going to hold them to that standard. You guys know the deal, man. I'll catch you guys on the next one.